Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Drew's Book Reviews. So today's book, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Legacy of the Force book, Exile by Aaron Alliston. So this is one of the many books in the whole greater Star Wars expanded universe. And this one has, we're dealing with Han Solo and Leia, how they basically become exiles in their, from the Galactic Empire, from Corellia. They're on the run trying to, keep themselves alive, basically. And then we've got Ben Skywalker, who has been sent off on this mission by Jason, where he must go it alone and steal back something that was stolen that is a powerful Jedi artifact. His mission leads him to a Sith homeworld, or formerly Sith homeworld at the very least, where dark side energies are infused within the place, and really a very powerful source of dark side energy. Now, this whole goal or task that Ben's been assigned is a test for him. Now, I don't want to get into details. I'm not going to get into any spoilers about who sent him on this test, on this ultimate goal and objective, or this mission that he had to accomplish, and what the test was for. I don't want to get into any spoilers about that. But one of the other things I wanted to touch on within this book is this idea of sacrifice. So once again, Jason is faced with this idea of sacrifice, that he must sacrifice someone he loves in order to fully become a Sith Lord, essentially. The way the sacrifice is being said, I don't know, it just doesn't really do it for me, I guess. It seems kind of odd and not, in a way. Now, he must sacrifice somebody that he loves. Which, I mean, giving up somebody that you love certainly can be a sacrifice, but it's almost as if it's coming from the angle here that he must kill somebody he loves, which, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to make sense for me. I mean, to have someone you love die, to give them up in that sense, or to be the cause of their death for the greater objective, I guess, can certainly make a lot of sense if it's played out well and correct. But it almost seems like it's coming at it from this angle of that the only way to obtain his Sith masterhood is to go out of his way and deliberately kill somebody that he loves, which seems really odd to me. It just doesn't seem so much like sacrifice as a premeditated murder for the purpose of obtaining Sith powers. And I guess I just don't really understand why the whole story arc is set up to work that way. Or maybe I do understand it. I don't know. I'm just going off and spewing my thoughts here. I'm sure lots of people have a different opinion of that, maybe a different idea, but I just think that it would work better if it were a situation where, we know that Jason is headed down the path to the dark side. It would just make a lot more sense with this idea of sacrifice if he were to give up his family and friends, which he's already done to a great extent. He no longer has that positive or good relationship with his family in pursuit of his overall objectives. Just the idea that he has to go out of his way to kill somebody that he loves just seems really nonsensical there. It doesn't quite seem to make sense. And while having to sacrifice and give up much certainly does, the way in which the story seems to be leading for him to do so, or that he must do so, and the way he must do so, just seems kind of not really sacrifice so much as a premeditated murder, just for the point of sounding evil and bad in the first place, because Sith are supposed to be these evil bad things, or these evil bad people. So that's just not working too well with me. And again, I know a lot of people have different opinion, different idea. But for me, I've always kind of liked the villain who believes they're doing right and can't or won't do those things which he personally finds wrong or abhorrent. Now, but in doing what they do, they believe themselves to be in the right. They believe themselves to be doing good, which Jason certainly does for the most part. But even Jason's struggling with this idea of having to give up or sacrifice someone that he loves. And so I think the true villains wouldn't hesitate to do whatever they need to do, believing that every choice they make is a good choice. I think those really are the best villains. Like, even the best villains love their families and wouldn't kill somebody that they love for the purpose of achieving their greater goals if they could avoid it. But it seems Jace is being pushed to do that. So we'll kind of see how that plays out and kind of go from there. Those are just some of my thoughts specifically on Exile. So I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but I mean, overall, as far as the legacy of the 4 series go, I'm certainly enjoying it. I'm really kind of getting more into this Star Wars expanded universe. Certainly not the best in the series as far as I'm concerned, but again, I know some people might disagree with me, and that's totally okay. Don't have a problem with that. Those are just some of my thoughts on Exile by Aaron Alliston from the Legacy of the Force. Don't forget to stay tuned. Next up, we are going to be reading, well, Sacrifice, something we've been talking about. So we'll see how Sacrifice goes and how that is. So stay tuned. And we will see you next time on the next episode of Drew's Book Reviews. And until then, keep on reading. Bye.